And so, Spike's on. Stand up. I'm Simon Finch, and my job is to help schools, organisations, help children to become good digital citizens. And they describe this normally as e-safety, I think, and historically, but until we start to think about developing and nurturing digital citizens, we'll never get any further forward. And it's occurred to me, as I've had Spike now for about 8 weeks, that training, teaching dogs to be good citizens has some parallels with training, teaching children to become good digital citizens. So if you bear with me, I'm going to tenuously make connections. The first thing that we need to know about Spike is he's a bi-eyed husky, and this end has got sharp teeth. That means that he bites, and for those of you who've been following me on Instagram will know that I've been bleeding for some time. That end poos prolifically, and then we've got scratchy paws down here too. And what we need to ask ourselves, we press a button now, is what is required and why is it required for him to be a digital citizen, to be a citizen that we can be proud of. Now he's unlikely to start using computers, so we need to think about his socially acceptable behaviour. So we'll move on to our next one. I did these slides today, so no one's more surprised than me about what's coming up next, so I don't have to turn around and have a look. Is that he is born to be antisocial. In as much as if we don't give him the rules, if we don't show him how to behave, he will do exactly what he wants to do, and that he is egotistical. Everything is about Spike. And I would say that that is also true about children. Spike's mental age, if you could draw an analogy, is something approaching a key stage 2 child. Is that he is brave, he is inquisitive, he sees no danger, he believes he's immortal, he thinks he can go anywhere. And unless I show him that biting in the first instance is unacceptable and is not good citizenship, he won't understand that and he will continue to do that. Similarly, with the children in our care, unless we show them how to behave, unless we model appropriate behaviour, unless we show them that things aren't acceptable, then they will continue to do that. And so we know that we'll have seen there are children that bite and push and are selfish and don't consider others. I will never get to the stage with a dog where he becomes magnanimous and thinks of me as his equal or as somebody that he should perhaps offer the last piece of cake to. It will always be, in his case, about looking after himself first. So our next one then is that I'm going to dog training classes, dog teaching classes. One of the things that I've learned that I hadn't thought about before is that many of us, when we're training our dogs, say no. And we tell our kids no all of the time when it comes to the internet. We say, no, you can't do that, we're filtering this, you can't go to that website, don't give out your personal information. And all we do is tell them what they can't do. Similarly with our dogs, if we tell them no all of the time, how is Spike supposed to know what is the good stuff? So although he's my 4th dog, he's the first dog that I've had where I'm consistently telling him when he's doing the right thing. So as I was parked almost a mile away tonight, all the way down, every time he was walking without pulling, every time he wasn't chewing, every time he wasn't going into a shop, I was saying good. I wasn't only telling him the no things. In fact, I tried to avoid saying no at all. And similarly, perhaps if we were to think about our teaching about saying what we are rewarding for the good things, then we might end up being a little closer and a little quicker to digital citizens. So next thing. Oh, look at that formatting. I'll blame the Mac. By saying yes all of the time, yes, I like that, yes, I like what you're doing on the internet, yes, that's the way to behave, yes, that's the amount of personal information, we stand a chance of perhaps our children moving forward. Is this making sense? Is it too tenuous? Do we move on?
Formatting gets worse, don't worry.
And there's Spike getting chinned by Ralph the Bulldog. Because the filter for Spike, what is the filter for Spike? Do you know? Have you any ideas? What is the thing that determines where Spike can go in his environment, across his curriculum? It's the lead. It's the lead. That's the only thing, actually. That's what controls. So when I let him off the lead, that's when Spike makes all of the decisions. When we lift the filters for our children, when they go home to their own filtered internet access, when they go home to their own filtered activity, when nobody is watching and saying yes, that's where they find themselves in difficult places. What are you doing? Stop messing about. Keep going. So next slide will be. Go.
A blue screen.
Right. Oh yes, I see. Yeah. And so there's Spike with my dad. What I need to do is to teach Spike not to jump up at people. And I need to do that really quickly. I need to make sure that Spike doesn't jump up. Because when he gets to be a big dog, and there's every chance to be a big dog, people like my dad, in his 80s, and children, will come to harm. And similarly, when it comes to thinking about how we're going to develop digital citizens, we need to do it early, because by the time Wickham, sorry, I was talking about schools in Gateshead. I was in Wickham yesterday. I've just remembered the name of the school. And I was there, and they were talking about the difficulties they have with some of their children when they're teenagers. And I said, well, are you working with the primary schools? Because if you work with the primary schools, by the time the children come to you, they might have a better idea about how to be good digital citizens. Next. Okay. I wonder what that says. Oh, yes. Our colleague at the back here, Sean, we both worked at the same school. And back in, I would think, 1988, I was so disappointed in great children, good children, like good dogs like Spike, who would let me down. They'd done something bad, and I was distraught, and I said, they've let me down. And the teacher who'd been there for a good 20 years said, kids will let you down. They're just kids. Tomorrow is another day, and then you try again. And similarly, our little dog here will let us down. Sometimes he will jump over people. Sometimes he will perhaps be inappropriate with those sharp teeth at the front. That doesn't mean we give up on them. What it means is that we work even harder with them. And as we can quote Shakespeare in this, good wombs have borne bad sons. Perhaps despite our best efforts, everything that we do for our children, it will turn out in a way that perhaps is antisocial. In the same way that no matter how hard I try with Spike, perhaps there will be a day when he does something which is unforgivable. So our next bit will be that what we need to strive to do is for our children to become their own filters. For Spike to be able to take control of his own lead and be able to work out where it is safe, where he can be acceptable in his behaviour, and be in a place which everybody will want to see him. And we want our children to be in that place where wherever they go on the internet, whatever it is that they post, whether it's videos, audio files, text or images, that they are appropriate. Now, next one would be, this takes time, it takes consistency, and it takes a fantastic amount of effort. And until we all work together as primary and secondary teachers, we stand no chance of having digital citizens of which we can be proud and of whom that we want to meet. And our next slide will be, we shouldn't forget that our kids and our dogs are never too big for a hug. Thank you very much.